Hey guys, this is Candle, and it's time for another collection update. It's kind of a smaller one right now because with everything that's been going on in the world with regards to COVID-19, I haven't really been able to get out and buy up a whole bunch of games. Plus, it's kind of smarter to save up your money for a bit. So this is mostly pretty much just new releases that have come out over the last month or so that I definitely had to get. And actually, we're gonna start out with the one that just came out today, as of this recording. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I have not actually started playing this yet. I'm currently installing the first disc on my PS4 Pro right now, and yes, this does indeed come with two discs in there as well, a play disc and a data disc. And I'm really super excited for this, which is strange because Final Fantasy VII was for the longest time one of my least favorite games in the franchise, but I am definitely a Final Fantasy shill. So, and I do love the fact that this has a reversible cover. So in case you want the more simplistic one with just the logo, you can do that. But I think I'm going to keep it on the standard cover, and the reason why is because I about a month or two ago I pre-ordered the maybe more like 3 or 4 months ago I pre-ordered the deluxe edition from Amazon, and well, with everything going on, my copy got delayed by a few days. It's not supposed to be coming till the 14th, Tuesday the 14th. And I really wanted to play this on day one, so I ended up ordering this online from BestBuy.com for curbside pickup at one of the local stores. So I was able to go out and nab this morning. I'm really excited for this. And again, I honestly don't mind double dipping on this because it's Final Fantasy. That's one of the few franchises I will go out and I will get every variant I can get. But beyond that, I also did pick up Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which I really immensely enjoyed. I didn't really get too into Ori and the Blind Forest. I mean, I enjoyed what I played of it, but I found it to be super difficult and frustrating. And for some reason, everybody's been saying this is more difficult, but there were frustrating moments, particularly with a couple of the last bosses. But it was still a complete blast to play. Beautiful game. It does kind of retread the same waters emotionally wise in terms of its narrative. It is a new narrative, but it kind of retreads kind of the same story beats. But it's still a pretty fun game. Speaking of other fun games, I also picked up Doom Eternal. This is the PC edition, which came with not a disc, but a cardboard cutout here, which they have the code printed on. And the only reason I picked up a physical copy of this, because I knew that was going to be the case from the jump, the only reason I picked up a copy of this is because I got it from Amazon, and they were offering it for $10 off at the time, just for pre-orders. And so I was able to get a $60 game for like $50. This also came with a code for Doom 64, which I played through for the channel and had a blast. I was playing through this on my own and got about halfway, but my save file got corrupted. And now here's the thing. I've been having issues with my computer where during intense gaming sessions, it just shuts off. It just shuts off and reboots itself. So it's just force restart. At first, I thought it was the CPU overheating because I noticed that whenever I booted it back up, it had a minute to cool. I booted it back up, and it was temping at about 88 degrees Celsius, which is not great. I think most CPUs have a threshold nowadays where they start throttling or cutting off at around 90 just to keep it from dying, because at like 100 you definitely cook your CPU. So I ended up replacing my Intel stock cooler that I put in there when I built the thing about 5 years ago with a Corsair all-in-one water cooling unit, and my temps on that dropped down. Under load now, I think it gets up to like 65 for the CPU. But the thing is, it was still happening. And I think I've narrowed it down to either my graphics card or my power supply. Now, the thing is, the symptoms I'm getting is like if there's a component that's overheating, either the CPU or the GPU or something, but all of the temps are completely in line with where they should be, especially under load. Like the CPU, like I said, gets 65 now. The GPU gets about 75, 78 under load. And then, so I was researching it, and another possible thing was the power supply could be going bad. But I was talking to a friend, and he said, like, the power supply I have, even if it's only 5 years old, the power supply I have, which is a Corsair RM650, should not be going bad at all. So my best bet is it's my graphics card, which is possible. It's a GTX 980 Ti from 2015, right after the launch. So it's entirely possible that that is in fact reaching end of life. And I was planning on replacing that sometime soon anyways, so I'm going to probably replace that sometime in the next couple months with an RTX 2070 Super, at which point I will finally be able to go back and play Doom Eternal. I was going for a while where I was dealing with this forced restart issue, and but like I said, after getting about halfway through the game with everything up to that point unlocked, the file got corrupted. I'm guessing it forced a restart like while the game was in the middle of actually trying to save the next checkpoint. So that's what caused it. So it kind of sucks, but I am looking forward to getting back into this, but it's going to be a little bit of a while because I kind of got soured on it. But speaking of other things that I really enjoyed, Resident Evil 3 just came out. I really, really immensely enjoyed this. It plays just like last year's Resident Evil 2 remake. It is a little bit on the shorter side, though. I believe Resident Evil 2, one of the campaigns lasted about 8 hours or so, and then if you played both of them, you got about 16 hours of enjoyment out of that, not to mention like any other replay value. This one, the campaign only lasts about 6.5 to 8 hours, or 6.5 to 7 hours, something like that. I ran through it in about 6.5, and that was getting like all of the items and everything. So you could, spend a little bit more time with it, but I don't really see that happening. And you can replay it if you want to try to get more unlockables and stuff like that, but I don't really see that being worth it. However, even though people have been ragging on this for the shorter runtime, it does also include Resident Evil Resistance, which is a completely new multiplayer mode. It's a 4v1 asynchronous mode, kind of similar to like Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight, where you've got 4 survivors and you've got one person running around trying to kill them, except it also mixes in some aspects from Left 4 Dead, where that one person basically they're called the mastermind, and basically what they can do is they can set up traps and send monsters and so on. And Left 4 Dead did that, except you didn't have a human controlling that, you just had the AI director doing that. So it's really kind of interesting to do that, and it reminds me a little bit of what they had planned for Fable Legends before that ultimately got canceled. But beyond that, I also picked up Resident Evil 6 for the PS4. So now I have the full Resident Evil experience on PS4. I have the Origins Collection. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Revelations 1 and 2. This one is like really, really weird. I couldn't really get into playing it myself, so I ended up watching somebody else play it, but I am glad to have it in my collection. The only Resident Evil game I think they should remake now is Code Veronica. Just remake that, or just do an HD port of it or something. Preferably releasing it on physical, but honestly, at this point, I'm just glad to have the full run on PS4. So beyond that, the last thing I picked up is something else I haven't actually touched yet. .hack GU Last Recode. Now, I played the original .hack game years ago, .hack Part 1 Infection, and that was on the PS2, and I didn't really get into it. Like, I really enjoyed the concept of it, where you've got this MMO that's like a VR MMO almost, and there's weird things going on in it. Not necessarily people getting trapped inside it, but that like people are dying in the game and then dying in real life. And so I was always intrigued by the .hack concept. Problem is, the original 4 games are only available on the PS2, and the last one is super expensive. It's like close to $200. It's like one of the most expensive PS2 games out there. I think the only one that's more expensive right now is Rule of Rose, which is like $400 or so dollars. But they also did another trilogy, the .hack GU trilogy on the PS2 as well, where you had Rebirth, Renis, and Redemption. And those aren't as expensive. I think it'll cost you like maybe like $120 to get all 3 together, something like that. I haven't really looked. But I also heard that trilogy was a good place to jump in. Well, the thing is, even though the original quadrilogy never got ported, the GU trilogy did. That got ported and remastered on the PS4 in the Last Recode collection. So it has .hack GU Volume 1 through 3, plus an all-new 4th volume, and the terminal disc footage. And it's all on one disc, because the .hack games also came with these anime OVAs on a second DVD or CD disc or whatever. So I'm definitely glad to have this in my collection and be able to check it out at some point. But it's going to be a while, because Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to monopolize like all my non-LP gaming time for the foreseeable future. So until then, I shall see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe.